Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Today's shir is being sponsored by the Sherman family, Kew Garden Hills, in memory of their father, grandfather, great-grandfather, Shmuel, Mrdechai Yosef. His yahrzeit is today. By Roland, Alexander Yehoshua Friedmann from Frankfurt am Main, Germany. We have a guy from Germany. Refua Schelema for our beloved son Eliyahu Orel Noah ben Judith. Rabbi Isai, please. May he have Irat Shamaim and become a ben Torah. By Hofman. Refua Schelema to my sister sheindele bat Brendel. And that's Succah to my sons and family. From Yoel bat Sultana and Eli Moshe bat Sultana. By Chaim, in honor of Reb Eli. Yosef, I know what this person is.
That was it.
I'm not supposed to know who it is?
I don't know.
Yishkoyach, I appreciate it. Oh, you don't know who it is? Parnas Hayoim. We have a Parnas HaChodesh. By Michael Benmeleh, in memory of his mother, Devora Faige about Shmuel, and father-in-law Menachem, Mendel ben Elchanan, and in merit to make it to Uman Rosh this year.
Amen.
So he said there's a Refua Schelema for our son Eliyahu Orel Noah ben Judith. May you have Irat Shamaim and become a ben Torah. Thanks to Reb Eli Stefansky and the whole team for making a difference in learning Shas. I think you can call it sort of a revolution, Daf Yomi learning, and that's what everybody who's joining this wonderful big Jewish family is feeling. This is a person from Frankfurt, Germany. I'm very thankful to Hashem that he led me to Reb Stefansky and his great Merkaz team, and to be able to be part in this great learning experience. May all and Klal Yisrael be blessed, and may we all be able to see the Mashiach and the Geula soon in our days. Kol Tov, Roland Alexander Yehoshua Friedmann from Frankfurt. Hey, hello, Reb Eli. I would rather write anonymously, but as there are no secrets in MDY, my name is Shmuel Kogus. I currently live in Haverstraw, New York, near Mark Ashkenazi. Where's Mark? Where's that? That's Muncie? I never heard of this place. It's starting to grow. West Hempstead is okay. I am primarily a YouTuber. Usually Muncie Shabbos, I have the opportunity to be on Zoom. Brooklyn will never be Muncie. They would rather move past the tracks than be. I started here in Shabbos while working nights on a paramedic truck. Here's the paramedic truck, Rabbi Sai. This is chashuv stuff. Here he is. Here's the shear. Here are the magnets. Oh, the screen is working. That one at least. That one is not. Okay. Usually we have the charts and the screens, and we have also someone, there's like a hand following the Gemara, so if you get lost in a story or something, you can look up on the screen. Be'ezer Hashem, will all come back. I've never been very studious. Sitting through a shir class is difficult to say the least. Now I'm a warehouse manager by day and work as a paramedic on a less frequent basis. This is the first shir that I've ever been able to truly follow and focus on. Your explanations and demonstrations are phenomenal and truly original. While I wish you said more shirim daily, like Elchanan Pressman, I enjoy listening to shir more than once a day. You hear this? He's a paramedic. He listens to more than once a day. I went back to the beginning of brachas and started all over. My girls asked to listen to shir while in the car and compete to see who can do a better good morning Rabbi Say. This is the second email today I got about the girls saying good morning Rabbi Say. As one of the kids, somebody else wrote that his daughter goes through the whole YouTube. She sees, it's good for us because you get more clicks like that. Bowing to your greatness. Bowing to your Shmuel Kogus. Okay. Avram Zora from Kiryat Sefer. Truly an amazing evening at the Siyum. It was great once again meeting all the MDY family in person. Attached to 2 photos from the event. Bli Neder, there are more to come. Well, I want to get ready for the shir in Sukkah. It's geschmack to do the daf. Batzlocha Rab Avram Zora, Kiryat Sefer. Oh, it's only 7:20. There's more. Well, I'm going to time out. No, it's a short daf. This is a very long one. Let me skip around there. My name is Moshe Davis. I came to Israel 4 years ago. Keren B'Yavna. Second year, went to the army, made aliyah. The beginning of the army's learning was strong. 7 months later, it just fell apart. Then came January 2020, the Daf Yomi cycle. Told me, said, there's no way I'll be able to keep up. I won't get anything out of learning. The classic excuses. But then I saw there was a group of guys in my unit starting the daf, so I decided to jump in the bandwagon. It was the greatest decision ever. It was a spark that brought all my learning back. Baruch Hashem started the daf, got me back on track with Shnayim Mikra and my Mishnayim Seder. A lot of people say that the daf brings back the consistency of other things like Shnayim Mikra and Mishnayis. All was going well, chugging through the daf with my chavrus in the army unit, until I got back to yeshiva this past Elul, 70 daf into Erevin. I couldn't do it anymore, it's too hard. Kitzer, art scroll, chanced upon Eli Shir. And I'm in Shir until this very day. What makes the story that much better is 2 months ago, my family made it into Israel for my wedding. Somebody's making a lot of noise here, I can't concentrate. Randomly started belting out Gishmak, good morning, Rabbi Sai. To my great surprise, my 16-year-old brother responded, "You listen to Reb Eli Shir?" The kids, unbeknownst to him, he got a free Gemara Yuma, and he started, so the whole mishpach is into it. My 14-year-old brother told me that his Rebbe told him to do it also. Bekitzer, the ganze mishpach, wow, it's a huge email. You're welcome to read it. Here, I'll put it up for a second. What's the guy's name? Your Talmud, Moshe Davis. Oh, it says on the bottom here, P.S. The email was already too long, so I refrained from making any Panovich or Gaiva Delio jokes. My sincerest apologies. Shkoyach. He was at the Siyam. Beautiful. All right, here we go. Today is Daf Vav, and we're holding 6 lines from the bottom of Daf Hey Amud Beis. We just finished saying that according to Rabbi Yehuda, it doesn't have a pasuk to teach us that a mechitza is 10 tefachim. How does he know the idea that a mechitza by a sukkah needs to be 10 tefachim? The walls of the sukkah have to be 10 tefachim. So the Gemara says because of the concept shiurin, chatzitzin, and mechitzin are halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Moshe Rabbeinu received directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu things. Sometimes we don't understand them. Sometimes yes. Halacha l'Moshe Sinai. It's a halacha. It's not in the Torah, but it's a lot stronger than the Rabbanon. It's like a Doraisa. Halacha l'Moshe Sinai. What is it? Shiurim, all the shiurim, the reviyas, the kazayas. Chatzitzin, we're going to see the chatzitza. When you go to the mikvah, you can't have anything on your skin. The water has to touch all of your skin. Or we'll see exactly. And mechitzas. Halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Says Gemara, shiurin Doraisa ninu. Depends how you sing it. You can say shiurin Doraisa ninu. No, that's not how you say it. Shiurin Doraisa ninu. At the end of the day, the shiurim are in the Torah. What are you telling me that the shir is halacha l'Moshe Sinai? It says mafurish in the Torah the shiurim. Why? The siv eretz chita usa'ira. The pasuk about the shivas haminim. Here it is. Shivas haminim. Sa'ira, gefen. You have pomegranate, olives, and dates. This is from Masechus Brachos, though. The reason why the reds are highlighted is because the pasuk starts over again. Eretz, it says Eretz again. We'll see again. We're going to be using this word actually. Eretz zeis Sherman. So in brachas we learned the beautiful halacha that the olive, if you're making brachas or whatever, the olive comes before barley, grapes, because it's the first to the second eretz. And dvash, which is number 2 to the second one, comes before number 3 over here. Okay, that's a different halacha. I'll go upon him. It says, Eretz chito soira v'gefe unteina v'rimoin, Eretz zeis shemen udvash. V'omer Elchanan, kol ha'posuk hazeh l'shiurim nemar. From every single one of these fruits, we learn a different shir in the Torah. Says Rashi, 4 lines from the bottom. L'shiurim nemar. Ha'posuk medaber b'shivcha shel Eretz Yisrael. The pasuk is telling us the beauty, the shvach of Eretz Yisrael, praising Eretz Yisrael. Sha'afilu b'divrei Torah tzrichim l'shar b'peirisah isurim sheba Torah. Even when we look at isurim in the Torah, we're going to go to the fruits of Eretz Yisrael. We're not going to go to the grape of Egypt or the grape of the United States. We're going to go to the grape. The size is the grape of Eretz Yisrael. The size of a pomegranate is the pomegranate of Eretz Yisrael. Shivcha shel Eretz Yisrael. So how does it work? So the Gemara now is going to take us all the way to the bottom of Vav Amud Aleph and teach us each and every fruit, what shir it's referring to. This one is in my opinion, a very interesting one because it's not really a shear of a chita. Chita, wheat. So all the other ones basically are the shear, the size of a pomegranate, the size of a date. Over here, it's not the size of a kernel of wheat. What is it? It is a shear. Chita lebeis hamenuga. If a person has a house that has tzaras, we actually touched upon it yesterday, that the house has to have 4 amos by 4 amos to be called a house, and there's a tzaras in there. So the house creates tumah. If you go into the house, you become tummy. But he's not wearing his clothing. I mean, he is dressed. But he's also, in addition to that, he's holding clothing in his hands. And his shoes, his sandals, his rings are in his hand. This brings up that story that I said a few times about Reb Chaim Kanievsky. I was once by Reb Chaim Kanievsky with a friend of mine, a guy that wasn't so religious at the time when I met him, but he became religious. And he was a photographer, so I asked him if he could come in and take pictures. And he was taking pictures. Also, Reb Chaim Kanievsky looks at him and says, "Why is a woman taking pictures of me?" So the Anikel says, "Not a woman, it's a man. He even has a beard." No, it's a woman. And then he looks at him and says, "The ring. Why does he have a ring like a woman? He's a woman." Kids, don't get too nervous because Reb Chaim Kanievsky says the same thing about people that wear watches. But over here in the Gemara it says the guy had his rings in his hand. He was wearing a ring and he took it off. I should have asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky. It's not in those days. I guess men would wear rings. Maybe you're saying in these days it's not. Yeah, signet, different things. Okay. So what's going on here? Let me just show you real quickly. It's beautiful. It says in the pasuk, "V'habola bayis," this house that has tzaras, kol yimei hizgir oisoi. I know the pasuk by heart. You see, I'm just looking at the screen. I can read it right over there. Yitmo ad orev. Shmak, I love it. That's the camera, but that's the words. That camera doesn't have the words. Shkoyach. If you walk into the house, you become tamei. And what does it say in the next pasuk? V'hashoiche b'bayis, if you go to sleep in the house, or v'ha'oichel b'bayis, yichavis v'gadav. So what's going on here? If you walk into the house, you become tamei. So of course, if you sleep in the house, you become tamei. So what's going on here is that there's 2 shiurim. There's 2 times, two time limits. One is, as you walk into the house, you immediately become tamei. The second one is, you have to be there for a certain amount of time in order for the clothes that you're wearing to become tamei. They don't become tamei right away. If you're holding your clothes in your hand, you're holding your ring in your hand, they become tamei right away. But there's another thing that the pasuk says here. It's very nice. It's a nice diuk, yeah? Maybe we wouldn't have realized. We just read it. Okay. But if you're wearing your clothing, top of that Amud Aleph, and your shoes are on your feet, here, I don't have to make any diukim for Chaim Kanievsky. V'taba'oisav, betz ba'oisav. Hu tamei miyad, v'hem ta'orim, ad she'yishe b'chdei achilas pras. I was once there with my father, by Chaim Kanievsky, and my father asked him a question. So he told him, so my father said, "Yeah, but the place is in Succah, Lamed," and I'm looking, I had no clue what's going on. He's saying Chulin, he's saying Succah, back and forth, and my father said, you're right. So when we walked out, I said, "What's going on?" He says, "No," he said Chulin afnun daled, because the Gemara over there says this and that. He says, "I knew he was going to say that. I had the Succah, but that's, so I should have said, Succah da vavam nalev, tabayis b'yadai," and he would have said, "Hey," and then stuck. Okay, fine. So, if he walks in, so his body becomes tamei immediately. His clothing don't become tamei until what? Until he's there. Here's the upgraded picture from Reuven Shait. This is not Reuven Shait, this is upgraded. It's upgraded, shtickle. Kirdei achilas pras means as long as it takes you on a clock to eat a half a loaf of bread, approximately 4 eggs, it's 4 slices of bread. Like 2 sandwiches worth, however long that takes, we don't know exactly how long that is. That's how long you have to remain in that. Let's say it takes you 3 minutes, 9 minutes, whatever. How fast can you eat 2 sandwiches? It's not that quick. As long as it takes to eat a half a loaf of bread. But here comes the shear, not just a half a loaf of bread, not one of those loaves, for the healthy people. Wheat, not whole wheat, wheat. Reclining, and you're thinking about eating. You're concentrating on your food. You're not text messaging. You're not doing anything else. And you have something to be milafet, to smear it on, whatever you eat with the bread. That's the shear of when the clothing that you're wearing and your ring on your finger become tamei. Let's call it 8 minutes. 8 minutes. You have to be in the house for 8 minutes in order for your clothing on your body to become tamei. Pras means a half. We once learned chatzi pras. That's why I had to redo it, because it said on the original chatzi pras, and it showed up. Chatzi pras means a quarter, because it's a half of the pras. Pras means half. So chatzi pras means a quarter. I don't want to confuse you, but I wasn't able to. I just had to start over. Anyway. 8 minutes. Oh, that's where we got the 8 minute shear. 8 minute shear. It's a shear. Very nice. I got it. By the way, the new guys, there's some confusion, I think. This is a 45-minute shear, and this is an 8-minute shear. This is an 8-minute synopsis. They're two separate things, if you're new to this. Okay, check out the 8minute.daf.com. Okay, and here comes the shear. That's what I said. It's not the size of the chita, but it has to be chita. It has to be made out of wheat. Pas chitin. Veloy pas soyer, not barley bread. Mesav, he's reclining. In other words, says Rashi, he's concentrating on his food, so he eats it quicker. V'oichel v'lifton, and whatever you eat with it, whether it's, we once had its meat, whatever, but let's call it a shmir, something that makes the bread go down quicker. Next one on the list is soira barley. This is not. Etzem kisoira mitame b'mago b'masa. If you have a bone of a mace, of a dead person, the size of a barley, what is it called? A barley bean, a barley kernel. I wanted to say kernel, but didn't go well, but okay, kernel. Mitame b'mago, if you just touch it. Ubemasa. What does b'masa mean? That if you're not touching it, it's in your cup on the bottom, even though you're not touching it, but since you lifted it, you become tamei as long as it's the size of a barley kernel. Dr. Factor, your amen about the guy going to Uman was a lot stronger than the amen for the shaka. What's the shaka? Wow, he has nothing to answer. Bisnan. Etzem kisoira mitama b'mago b'masa ve'enai mitama b'oil. Oil is a whole different shear. Oil is roiv minyan. A person has 248 bones. So if you have the majority of the 248, what is that? 125. Yeah. Whew. I really didn't. That was part of it on the spot. And he's going to tell me I was wrong. 125 bones. Then the entire room becomes, anybody who walks into the room, if the bones are in a corner over here and you're on that other side, you also become tamei because you're in that oil. But oil is different. Oil, you need the roiv minyan of 248, or a whole skull, or an entire spine. Gefen, what's a grape? Kidei revis yayin linazir. So, if we're talking about salads, a nazir also can't eat salads. Can't eat the peel of a grape, the chartzanim, the pits. So how do you measure the pits and the chartzanim, the salads of grapes that a nazir who refrains from wine can't eat? You displace wine, not water. So you're looking at a larger measurement. It's a little bit more than water. The displacement of wine is more than the displacement. So you take this chasarim, you put them in a cup full of wine, and you displace a revius. Teina, what is a fig? Kigregeres lo yitzah Shabbos. When you're taking food on Shabbos from Rishus to Rishus, when we learn Masechet Shabbos, there's different shiurim, like fodder is the mouthful of a whatever animal it is, a donkey, and a goat has a certain different amount, whatever. But for human beings, food When it comes to food, it's the size of a fig. Rimoin, what's a pomegranate? The snan. Kol klei balabatim, shiuron kirimoinim. So, using this from a different thing, if you have a kli that's makabel tuma, let's say this is makabel tuma, which it's not, but let's say this is makabel tuma, and it has a hole. Let's say it breaks into pieces. This is tameh, and it breaks into pieces, the tuma dissipates. It's no longer tameh. What if it has a hole? So, if it has a hole, I could plug up the hole. See, like this. Plug up the hole. How big? So if it's a hole the size of an olive, I could still use this even without plugging it up because I could put a larger fruit in there. Up until the size of a pomegranate. Once it has the size of a pomegranate, it's this big, I'm going to toss it away. What's interesting is that the Gemara says it's for a balabais. At home, I will tolerate this kli. But when you go to the store, nobody in their right mind is going to buy a kli that has a small hole in it. So if you're a store owner, you're going to toss it even with the mashu, right? If you go to the store and you buy a couch, and the couch has a little tear in it, you're out of there. You're not going to buy the... But if you already own that kli, you own the couch and it has a little tear, you're not going to throw it out. You keep it in your house. It's also your side for life. If, let's say, your spouse has a little bit of a chesaron, let's say, not everybody has, but some people have spouses that have chesroinus. So, l'chatchila, maybe you wouldn't have married her or him. But now that you have her, that's it, you're stuck. You got to live with it. But, wait a minute. But it's not, I'm not done yet. It's going very well, because here's the thing.
You mean there's more?
Yeah, there's more. There's a big side. Big side. What people don't realize is that whatever that chesaron that your spouse has is tailor-made to you. So let's say you have a little bit of a kas issue, a little bit of a mefunik, a clean guy, like that guy I was telling you about that he wanted to get divorced because his wife didn't clean the corners. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'dafka puts that into your life. That woman that knows how to push that button of kas, that woman that knows how to make you nervous about cleaning, it's b'dafka. It's to make a tikkun. So you have to realize that. It's if you understand that, then nothing is a chesar. Then no spouse, all your spouses are perfect because they're tailor-made for you. You hear the chap? It's murder.
When my wife gets really angry at me, I look at her and say, "Thank you so much for helping me with attacking myself."
Oh,
And you know what happens?
you know,
She gets more angry.
Very good, very good. And you attacking her? You got that in Uman? Wow. Tikkun Agu. So Dr. Factor says, I didn't know you go to Uman. You go for Brissim, not for Rosh Hashanah. You leave your family and go to Rosh Hashanah? Unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, we got to talk afterwards. So, I don't know if you heard. Some people asked to repeat. That I can repeat. He said that when his wife yells at him, I know his wife, she doesn't yell, but if she does, so he says, thank you very much. You're helping me be attacking myself. And then she gets even angrier. Wow. Givaldik. You see how we got from pomegranates to the wives and to Avi Factor's wife, the whole thing. Eretz, Zeis, Sherman. Eretz, Shekol Shiureh Kazeisim. All of Eretz Yisrael, all the shurim that we have in the world are kizayis. Where do we get it from? Because the Torah says Eretz. Pointed it out before, right over here. It does say Eretz, meaning everything, the whole country. That's the shir of everything. As the Gemara, Kol Shir Sogodaitach, we just finished saying different shirim. Chita, Saira, Riman, Taina. All of a sudden you tell me all the shirim. Says Gemara Elaima, Shurayv Shireh. Usually Rubik Kulai, so Raiv. Raiv Shireh Kazais, when it comes to a mace, a kazais of his flesh, a kazais of nevela, a kazais of dam, all the shiurim, most of the shiurim are kazais. Matzah, whatever. Dvash means honey, but in the Torah, dvash means a date. It's sweet like honey. We all know what that is. Not all. If we just learned Yuma, literally at the end of the Masechta, discussing what the Isser Achila is on Yom Kippur, that's Chayev Oynesh. It's also to just eat on Yom Kippur. But the shear is because on Yom Kippur it's different than eating. It's not about eating, it's about soothing yourself. And what soothes a person? Kikosev is the size of a nice fat date. Alma the Raisanino. So going back to the question, you're telling me that that Moshe Rabbeinu, it's all in the Torah. What? This pasuk is not Torah. This is Torah right over here. Says the Gemara. Does it say the Sa'ira, the Chita is for the maize, and the Sa'ira is Etzim Kisa'ira? It doesn't say anything. You made a drasha. Obviously, this is all halacha mishum Sinai. All these drashas we just said. Ukra asmachta ba'almu, and at the end of the day, the pasuk is there for asmachta. What was that ritva I just said? I already forgot it. The ritva says about asmachta that what? Oh, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put it in the Torah. It's not that Chachamim looked for a source and they found it in the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put it in there for Chacham later on to pull out that source and use it. Chatzitzin, but over here it's different. It's halacha l'Moshe Sinai, and there's a source in the Torah. Okay, chatzitzin d'oraisaninu. The idea of chatzitza is not halacha l'Moshe Sinai that you just said. You said that three things halacha l'Moshe Sinai: shiurin, chatzitzin, and mechitzin. But chatzitza is in the Torah. The chsib v'rochatz by the Mitzorah, he washes his es b'saray b'mayim. All his skin must touch the water. You can't have anything that separates the skin from the water. Says the Gemara, you're right. That's attempt number one. It's coming to say that the hair on a human being is also chaytzitz. That's why you go to the mikveh d'oraisa, someone has to check your hair, make sure there's no chatzitza. One hair that's in a knot could create a chatzitza. In other words, the water can't get to all surfaces of that hair, and therefore it's a chatzitza. Shalosh and a chatzitza. But three hairs, since they're tough, you take three hairs and you make a knot, the water will sneak in. It's not a real chatzitza. Shtayim and two, I don't know. Says so. That's halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Says the Gemara, sorry, nami d'oraisinu. It's not true. That's not halacha l'Moshe Sinai. The chsiv v'rochatz es b'sari b'mayim. Es, the word es, hatav l'b'sari, right? The whole Rebbe Kiva went and darshan all the esim in the Torah until he got to es Hashem Elikecha. Es is a word that adds. Adds to what? Something that's in addition to your skin. Umayni, what else is in addition to your skin that could be chayz? Sarah, your hair. Says the Gemara, you're right. So what is the halacha l'Moshe Sinai? K'asoi l'chazel the Rebbe Yitzchak. Dama Rebbe Yitzchak, Devar Torah, and this is very important. Devar Torah. What does Devar Torah mean? Halacha l'Moshe Sinai, says Rashi. So it goes like this. I learned my lesson. Usually, I make a chart, and I show the oil on the chart, and we go weiter, and everyone says, yeah, it's pashut. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show you the chart. We're going to learn the sugi without the chart. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to mention the chart. However, I'll show you the chart afterwards, and then we'll go back. Just because I love, this is one of my favorite charts. Mamash. It goes like this. We just turned to that Amud Beis, sponsored by the MDY Tehillim Group, for all those who need shidduchim, refuas, yeshuas. Please join tehillim.8mindaf.com. Dvar Torah, midoi raisa. There's two conditions, not midoi raisa. Sorry, mehalacha l'Moshe Sinai. Let's get that in because Dvar Torah means midoi raisa, not midoi raisa. Halacha. I'm trying to figure out what the halacha l'Moshe Sinai is. What did Moshe Rabbeinu get from HaKadosh Baruch Hu that's not in the Torah? This. There are two conditions. Rubai umakbid. That it has to be on most of your hair, not your body. Your hair. Most of your hair. 51% of your hair. Umakbid. You don't want it to be there. That is a chatzitza. All of chatzitza. V'sheinu makbid olav enei chatzitza. And if you don't care, there's no chatzitza. Why? Says Rashi. Because then it becomes like your body. If you don't care, you don't mind that it's on your head, you have a bunch of gook. Or let's say, an example would be a wig, like a hairpiece. I know in America, some bald guys, they go around with this wig, they think it looks natural, doesn't? So, a toupee. So, that, if you're not makbid, that's fine. You can go to the mikveh with it, maybe. It's very interesting. Look at Rashi, Dibra Matzkel, Ein Makbid Olav. Havale kigufe. No good. Havale kigufe. It's like your body if you don't care. Hoyil ve'ein soifai litloi. Since you're never going to remove it. So let me ask you a question. I know what you're all thinking, and because I'm asking the question, you should know that the answer is not like you're thinking. What about you go to the dentist and he puts in a temporary filling that's going to last you for 6 months. He says, come back in 6 months, I'm going to do a real root canal. But in 6 months, I'm taking it out. Rashi says, Ein soifai litlo, you're never taking it out. But what about 6 months from now? Is that considered, could you go to the mikvah with a temporary filling that you're taking out, it's soifai litlo, when? In 6 months. No, what do you think?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
So what? No, that's chatzitza. That's chatzitza. It is. You can, yeah, you can. You gotta. Okay, we'll talk about it later. What? Yeah. You don't put water in your mouth. You don't put water in your mouth, but it has to. You can't have things. The what? What's that? Oh, stitches. Wow. You hear that? Dr. Factor, who's a plastic surgeon, he takes people's stitches out before the mikvah, and then he puts them back in after the mikvah because you can't go with those stitches. It's us to live. Anyway, the Chazon Ish says, I thought it was a tremendous chiddush. He says, since you're about to take it out in 6 months, it's a chatzitza. You can't go to the mikvah with that. Unbelievable. Somebody else I saw is Mechulik. I don't know who he is. I know who the Chazon Ish is, but I don't know the other person. He says, I like the Svar though. He said, you don't want to take it out. The dentist wants to take it out. If it's up to you, you could have that filling there for years. Who wants to go back to the dentist? So this shouldn't be a Chazon. Okay, fine. You like it also, Hillel. Okay, great. Now listen to this. If you don't care about it, it doesn't create a chatzitza. V'gazru and Chachamim made a gzeira al rubai she'enei makbid on the majority of your body that you don't care because mishum rubai makbid, because of the iraisa of roiv and that you're makbid. Val miyutei hamakbid, and they also made a gzeira on the minority that you are makbid mishum rubai makbid because of the iraisa of rubai makbid. If you're not following, it's better for me because I want to show you why my chart is so beautiful. V'lig zernami, ask the Gemara, make a gzeira al miuto she'enei makbid mishum miutei hamakbid. Make a gzeira even further on the minority that you don't care about because of the minority that you do care about. Inami, this is where it gets confusing. Or maybe also because mishum rubai forget it. Let me just show you this thing and. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I had such a no when I made this. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me the idea to put the color in there. Once I did it without color, but once I put the color in, it's unreal. Let me show you why. This is the Issa D'Oraisa. This is the Chatzitza D'Oraisa. The two conditions, Roiv and Makbid. It's 51% of your hair and you hate it. It's vomit, whatever it is, waste. You want to get it out quickly. With D'Oraisa, that's a Chatzitza. Come Chachamim, and they take one word from each, and they made an Isser. They took the Roiv, even though you're not Makbid, it's green, you see? They took the bad, it's the majority, even though I don't care about it. It's not vomit, it's a toupee, but it takes up 51% of my head. Chacham said, no good, can't go to the mikveh with it. Then they took the second word, the Makbid, I care about it, and they added the green to it. And they said, even if it's the minority, it's 49%, but I'm makbid, it's throw up, vomit on my hair, that's 49%. You can't go to the mikveh with it. Ask the Gemara, let's take the two greens, the two green words, the two mutter words, and let's say the Chacham say that's also asur. Miut, it's a minority of my body, of my hair, and I don't even care. It's maple syrup, it's cheesecake, and it's only 49%. You shouldn't be able to go to the mikvah. Says the Gemara, that's called the gzeira. That's 2 steps away from the Isser D'Oraisa, so Rubai Makbid. Now that we know that, let's see inside. Now it's going to be Gevaldik, right? Gevaldik. The green and the red, that's when it came. It's part of your body still, I would say. I'm not a Paisik, I don't know. It's a good kasha. Pshee, get over here. You gotta say the kasha to everybody. Come here. They didn't hear your kasha. Come. It's okay, he said. Zog the Gemara. Menachem. Dvar Torah, top of the page. Dvar Torah me'halacha l'mishim Sinai. There are two things, and only these two things, these two conditions combined create a chatzitza. Rubai u'makbid. It's 51%, and you care about it. But if I don't have one of these two conditions, I don't care. It's right, but I don't care. It's bottled to your body, says Rashi. And they made a gzeira. Rubai, here, they took one word, rubai, and even though you're not makbid the green, and they said that that's also a chatzitza. Why? Mishum, because of the top thing. Rubai ha-makbid, because of the halakha l'shim. And they also made another gzeira. The minority, they took one word, makbid, they put it here, but they added something that's really mutter, miyut. Mishum, why? Because we go back up here again, Mishum Rubai Hamak, because of the halakha that says these two conditions are no good. So even one of the two is also no good according to the Rabbanan. As the Gemara of Eliezer Nami, Al Miyut Sheni Makbid, these take the two greens, the Miyut and the Loi Makbid, combine them together, Mishum Miyut Makbid, because of Miyut of Makbid. Say this is Asur because this is Asur. Miyut that your Makbid is Asur, is a Chatzitza. So miyut that you're makbid should be also a chatzitza. Inami mishum rubai sheni makbid. That line right there. That's why I think you need the chart. This miyut loy makbid should be chatzitza because of rubai loy makbid. You see, rubai loy makbid is a chatzitza according to Rabbana. So miyut loy makbid should be asur either because of this or because of this, because they both share one green word. So two green words together should be also a chatzitza. And that the Gemara says, he gufa gzeira. This is only the Rabbanan, an invented gzeira by Rabbanan. So we're not going to take it another step further. Great. Says the Gemara mechitzin. Why is a mechitza halacha l'mishmisina? Hadam according to Reb Yehuda, we said that the mechitza of a sukkah, we didn't have a source in the Torah, so the mechitza of a sukkah that has to be 10 tvachim is halacha l'mishmisina. Says Gemara Nichal Reb Yehuda. That's great according to Reb Yehuda. El Remeir, Michael Remeir has a pasuk to say that a mechitza of a sukkah needs to be 10 tvachim. So then which mechitza did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create on Har Sinai? That's a hilchasa, ligud, that we had yesterday. The mechitza goes upwards. If you have, not yesterday, 2 days ago, we had a beam in the middle of the sukkah. We said the walls, the invisible walls should continue upwards. We also had it in Erevin, good goes downwards, good achis mechitza, or pi tikra yoyer v'saisim. Over here, we consider the wall going down. You have a little ledge. It goes down and encloses this area. Beloved, and the idea that a wall is, or anything that has opening that's less than 3 tefachim is considered closed. The doifen akuma, and a bent wall. You have something that's bent, you put it, if it's too far away, you say that the ceiling is part of the wall, and it's actually a wall built crookedly. So, there's a very famous ma'aseh, but we have to say it. Yossi Klein reminded me of it. There was a chassid that went to the Rebbe and said, Rebbe, I don't have a shidduch, I need to get married. So the Rebbe said, if you go to the Kaisel 40 days straight, and he gave him all the instructions, like I said at the speech, if you listen to it, go to the Kaisel 40 days straight, and dive in the same spot, in the same time of the day, you ask for the same thing, you have kavana, guarantee you shidduch. Chassid goes to the Kaisel 40 days, and sure enough, he gets married, and he goes to the Rebbe, and he says, Rebbe, what did you do to me? She's mamish machsheifa. She's the worst of the worst. Mamish a witch. So the Rebbe says, let me hear, what did you do? What did you do? How did you do? He says, listen, I went to the Kaisel, but I said 40 days for you. I went ben hashmashos. It's a little bit of the day before and a little bit of the day after. And then then I realized, if that works, then I don't really have to go every other day, because there's a love. You just bridge the gap, and it's Rubik Kulai. So I went. So the Rebbe says, that's why you got it. Doifen Akuma. All right. The bottom line is, from here you can see a bigger side, Rabbi Isai. No, I'm just gasping. Like, if you try to cut corners, because Baruch Hu also cut corners. You got to do it. You can't be. We're not into be yotzezai. You got to go all the way out. You got to go and do it correctly. All right. We could elaborate a different time. Not enough time now. So we said in the Mishnah, we have a machlok. In the Mishnah it says if it doesn't have 3 walls, Sukkah doesn't have 3 walls, it's possible. 2 walls that are 7 tefachim each, but the third one could be a baby wall, could be 1 tefach. Comes along Reb Shimon Omer, shalish kil chasan, urevius afilu tefach. No, 3 have to be proper, and the 4th one could be a tefach. We have a major machlokes. According to Reb Shimon, you need 4 walls. Just the 4th wall could be a baby tefach one, and according to Chacham, like in the Mishnah, only 3 walls, and the 3rd one could be a baby one. Now we're going to have 5 pshatim. What's the source of the machlokes? Why are they machlokes? Now, I thought we would have more time, but I'll say it now anyway. The famous story that the Vilna Gaon told his Talmidim, each one should grab a Masechta and learn it unbelievably inside out, know by heart. So wherever they go, they could always chazer it. Reb Zalman Velazhin, who's Reb Chaim Velazhin's brother, was a tremendous Ilu and a big Talmid Chacham, was nifta at a very young age. He came to the Vilna Gaon and he said, Rebbe, I learned Masechta Sukkah. I know by heart, inside out, fair me. So Vilna Gaon told him, okay, how many Pasal Sukkahs are there in Masechta Sukkah? So he said, I don't know. He said, I have no idea. And he said, how many kosher Sukkahs are there? And he said, I don't know. So he says, that's not really knowing it back. So, but I'll tell you. There are 91 Sukkahs, Sheris in Masechta Sukkah, and 85 Pasal. How do I know? Keminyan Sukkah with a Vav is 91, and Sukkah without a Vav is 85. Okay, so that was the thing. 91 and 85. Based on that, says the Gemara like this. What's the source of the machlokes? Says the Gemara. This is a famous machlokes in Shas. A lot of words in the Torah are written differently than we read them. So if you take away the nekudas from this word right over here, it says besukas. We put a shurik over here, whatever you want to call it, and we make it sukkos. We make it plural, but it really says it as a singular. Sukas, there's no vav here. And this word as well, there's no vav, so it's really a single sukkah. We read it. Yesh aim lemikra. Do we go based on how we read it? Mikra, we read it. Or do we base it on misairis, on how we write it? Here it finally says besukos with a vav, so that is 2. So, very simple. So we're going to have 5 pshatim. 4 of them are based on this pasuk. Rabbanan Sarvi Yeshim Lemesayres, Reb Shimon Sova Yeshim Lemikra. Rabbanan Sarvi Yeshim Lemesayres, besukas. It says 1, 2 plus 2. 1, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Harikan Arba, Dal Chad Legufei. Remove this first sukas right over here in the beginning. Why? Because I need one to teach me the mitzvah of sukkah. I don't know it yet. And therefore I'm left with 3. That's beautiful. 3 mechitzas. Shnayim kil chasan. Shlish is afilu tefach. How do you make 3 mechitzas? 2 regular walls, 7 tefachim each, and 1 a tefach. And the halacha Mishnah comes and says, l'shlishis vukma tefach. You don't need a full 3rd wall. Reduce it to a tefach. Reb Shimon Sava Yeshim lemikra. Reb Shimon says no. It's the way you read it. Basukois. Harikan sheish. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. So remove these 2 right over here. It's 1 word. You got to remove both of them for the mitzvah. How much do you have? 4. Right? So he says there's 4. Take 1 off. Take the 4th one and make it only a tefach. So it's 3 plus 1 tefach. Everybody holds this 6 sukkahs over here because it's the way you read it. 6. Do I need a pasuk? I need a limud to tell me about the schach. Or the limudim are only talking about the walls. Why? Because the word sukkah means that there is schach. It's built into the word. You don't need a limud for that. The Chacham say, I need 1 goes off already for I have 6 minus 2 because I need the pasuk, I need the mitzvah. I'm left with 4, but one of the 4 is for the schach. I'm left with 3. Now from the 3, make the third one a tefach. So it's 2 plus 3. Reb Shimon says, no, I don't need a pasuk for that. It says in the word, Succah, Schach. So I'm left with 4, because I took off 2 for the Sukkah itself. I'm left with 4. So the fourth one is a tefach, 3 plus tefach. No. Why? For what? Yeah. No, this is for the mitzvahs. I can't use any limud from this. Not for the darshan. I mean, in the limud I have 1. It's the way I read it. So if this is the way I read it, I start off to begin with only 4 sukkahs. Sukkahs plus sukkahs is 4. So if I start out with 4, one of them is to teach me the halacha itself. So I'm left with 3. And the halacha Mishmesina says, take off from the 3rd and make it only a tefach. No, you have 3. And the halacha Mishmesina says, add a tefach to the 3. Beautiful. The of course, the halacha Mishmesina comes to take off. And I start out with 4. Could I learn from this first word or not? Very simple. Reb Shimon says, I use this word and I darshan from this word. I only have 3, and the third one is a tefach. And finally, just 2 more lines. It says a pasuk in the Navi that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to make a sukkah to protect us from what? From all the elements. Well, if a sukkah protects us from elements, it has to protect us. If it only has 3 walls, it can't protect us from the rain. It can't protect us from anything. So obviously the Torah is saying, have a sukkah that has 4 walls. It says the 4th wall could be a baby wall, but I need 4 walls. From rain. Have a wonderful day. Mark and Uncle Phil, it was great having you. Come more often.